Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Backyard Build. In this episode, we go from this to this. But first order of business is to put an awning up because it is hotter than Satan's butt crack out here. So let's get into it. Okay, now I got some shade to work in. Let's finish getting the welds ground down so I can get it all painted up in here and get the engine bay all nice and clean so we can put the engine back in. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so I have to get these little brackets put back on. When I was putting the radiator core support on, I noticed it goes like this. One of them was on there perfectly straight, and the other one was kind of cockeyed a little bit. But anyway, so I went ahead and drilled them out, the spot weld, so I could take them off, and now I can get them perfectly straight and attached to the frame rail and to the end or to the bottom of the radiator core support. So let's get that done. All right, so we got all the welds ground down. Now we're gonna get it shot with some zero rust so that it won't rust on us, and then we'll get the rest of the engine compartment cleaned up so we can get it all painted up. So, all right, let's get that done. All right, I'm gonna get the firewall and stuff all scuffed up to get any kind of dirt and stuff that might still be on there off, so I can get it cleaned up and so I can get it all painted so it's all one uniform color in here. So let's get that done. Okay, I got a light coat on there. We're gonna let that dry, and once that's dry, we'll come back with another coat. All right, I got the firewall painted up now so everything matches. So now I'm gonna work on getting the engine compartment cleaned up a little more. I already went ahead and removed the brake master cylinder. Now I'm gonna get underneath and remove this piece of exhaust piping. Now I can get it all cleaned up in here and get the cross member blasted off by pressure washing it, and then get it shot with paint. So everything's nice and clean and sanitary in here for when I start putting the engine in and all the new parts and stuff that are gonna go in here, all the new brake lines and all that stuff. So, all right, let's get that exhaust cut off there. All right, we got the exhaust cut out and removed. So now I'm gonna work on giving the transmission a Craigslist rebuild, which means a little bit of spray paint. So let's do that. Okay, so I got it all Scotch Brighted to get rid of the loose stuff, air blew it out. It has a brand new transmission pump and seal in it, so I don't want to paint over that. So I'm going to take a paper plate, cut out the center, and push it over so it'll cover the pump at the back of the transmission bell housing there. And then when I spray inside, the pump and stuff will still stay looking new. So, all right, let's get that done. That looks a heck of a lot better. So, all right, let's get the torque converter painted on the other side, because it's a newer torque converter, but because it was exposed to when it was raining and stuff, the front surface that faces the flywheel is all rusted. So let's find something to be able to seal this off so we can stand it up and it won't leak, and spray the other side so it looks good when we're putting the engine in. All right, let's do that. All right, I'm gonna hit it with some Hemi orange so that it looks nice when we're putting the engine in, and I'll know it's on there. So I'm not gonna worry about putting any primer on it because I don't need it to last. I just want it to look nice. So, and it should still adhere just fine. So, all right, let's get it sprayed. Okay, we're gonna go with the final coat here. So let's get that on. All right, the torque converter is all dry, so let's get it slid back in here. All right, the paint should be nice and dry, so I can get this paper pulled off here, so let's do that. All right, so I'm gonna come in here now and remove the throttle cable because the end of it's broken where it hooks to the linkage on the carburetor. Remove the transmission cooler lines so that they're out of the way because I'm gonna put new ones in there. And then there's a piece of rubber fuel hose on this hard piece of fuel line here. I'm gonna get that off there, so then I can get the frame rail all pressure washed off and get it painted. And I'm gonna cover over the bell housing of the transmission and the torque converter so that that'll be covered over with a plastic garbage bag or something. So when I'm blasting all this stuff off the K-frame or the subframe here, it won't get blasted onto the fresh paint on the torque converter and stuff. So, all right, let's get that done. Okay, so it's the next day. I went ahead and let it dry overnight so that the paint will adhere to the K-frame really well. So let's get a shot with some paint. All right, so we got the entire engine compartment all painted up and dry. So now it's time to start putting the engine in. So let's get it uncovered and get the cherry picker out and start putting it in. Okay, so I got the engine in, the motor mount bolts are in and tight. Just need to do the torque converter bolts and then the inspection plate down there, started that stuff, but I don't want to do any of that until I test fit and make sure that the long tube headers are going to go in without having to have the engine up. So let's grab the headers and see how well they fit. All right, so the gaskets that it came with right here are very, very thin. This one that it already broke right there, so I'm not going to use these gaskets, but I want to put them in place for just mocking it up. And then I'll get some of the better gaskets that don't have that little thin piece right there and slip them in after the fact. But I just want to make sure that the driver's side one will fit really well. I'm pretty positive this side will fit fairly easily, but that side I want to make sure that it's going to fit good. So we'll get these put on here just for now. Got really nice long tube headers for it. Ordered these from Jags, I believe it was, or Summit. I believe this is going to have to go underneath of the oil filter. I'm going to remove the oil filter and then see how well it fits. Okay, so let's see how good it goes in there now. It's definitely going to have to come in from the bottom. Alright, so that's the passenger side header in. Let's see if the driver's side goes in just as easy. Okay, the question over here is, I have the steering box out, and so it will probably go in pretty easily. But once I get it in there, I need to make sure it looks like there's enough room to be able to get a new steering box in there without having to remove the header or lift the engine. I guess if I had to lift the engine at that point, it would be that big of a deal. But let's see how well it goes in here, and then how much room it looks like there is to get the steering box in after the fact, because I don't have the new one right now. So, alright, let's do that. Alright, so I got the headers down in here. Looks like there's going to be plenty of room to get the steering box in here after the fact. The steering arms can go through this provision straight across. Right now I just have them pulled down below it because it's all unhooked. But looks like they fit really well. So, sweet. I'm excited about that. All right, so we need to get the exhaust ordered up so I can get exhaust put on it, and then we can get the cam broken in because I don't want to break it in with open headers. My neighbors might not be very happy with me. So we'll get the exhaust all ordered up. We'll get that put on and the cam broken in to hear the engine run in the next episode. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.